This is Children's Health Checkup, where we answer parents' most common questions about raising healthy and happy kids. I'm Nolan Alexander, and today I'm here with Betsy Kennard, a psychologist at Children's Health, as we discuss the crucial topic of online safety for children. Today, you'll walk away feeling more informed about online risks, the effects of social media and messaging, the latest with AI, and what you can do as a parent. Dr. Kennard, thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
It's our pleasure. And let's lead off with this. What are the biggest online risks for kids today?
Sure. There are many risks. I will point out that there are a lot of good things about social media, getting information, social connection, but there are serious risks. For example, problematic use or kids who can't control their online use. They feel in distress when they're not online. Kids are exposed to harmful content. There's cyberbullying. Also, we know that there's some connection between body image problems and a lot of social media use. Again, harmful content such as hate speech can be very difficult for kids. It also can disrupt normal social interaction, particularly if you have problematic use where they're not doing the normal social activities, can result in poor school performance. And we do know there's some association with mental health issues, not necessarily causal, it's just associated. So we have to be very mindful of that.
With everything you just mentioned, how do online risks differ by age? For example, younger kids versus teens.
That's a really important question. We know that the average age of children getting a smartphone is between 11 and 12 years old. We also know that there are more risks the younger these children get access to social media. It results in more risks, so that they have more problems with their sleep because they're using cell phones, tablets in their room. They may experience harmful behavior that can be more damaging, online bullying or access to strangers that are harmful. And these effects are also very harmful for video gaming. We have to be mindful of that too. And just the need for parental monitoring in younger kids is very important.
What mental and emotional health concerns do you see most often related to social media, to gaming, and to online interactions?
Yeah, we see more problems, and this is in even normal community samples. We see more problems with depression, anxiety, eating pathology, or body image pathology, some association with suicidal thoughts and behaviors. Again, these are associated, it's not necessarily causal, but it's something that we have to be very mindful of because mental health problems, particularly those with high frequency use and problematic use, go hand in hand.
How can features like gaming chat rooms, direct messaging, and live streaming put kids at risk?
Yeah, that's really important because gaming, instant messaging, and all that live stream is fun and very social, but carries very significant risk. These kids can have contact with strangers who might pretend to be kids or who might be grooming them. They can be exposed to inappropriate content, such as sexual content, hate speech, or violence. There also could be harassed or bullied, and they're often, particularly younger kids, might give up privacy and personal information that infers some risk. And just we want to be aware of any kind of scamming or financial exploitation. And as you know, that kids make mistakes all the time, and the ones that you make online are typically permanent.
And now with AI, it's so much more common. So, with AI tools becoming more commonplace that we see throughout the world, what new risks should parents be aware of?
I think the first thing parents need to be aware of, that in a recent study, we found that 72% of kids ages 13 to 18 say that they've interacted with AI, chatbots, or companions. And yet, only about 30% of parents are really talking to their kids about how they're using AI, We also know that kids are using AI in schools for homework, whether parents are aware of it or not. We also know that kids find the AI companions or chatbots very appealing. So we need to be, you know, mindful of that. Again, we know that there is some information that chatbots can give harmful guidance to kids. We have to be aware of that. They also, a companion chatbot has fewer safeguards. That also infers risk. And also, kids may not realize that this data that they're providing to AI sources can be misused. And a lot of exposure to AI, there's some research that says it can impair their ability to critically think on their own, which also can lead to misinformation.
To go back to the top of what you just said, approximately 70% are using AI, but about 30 some odd percent of parents are only having those conversations.
That's correct. I think that parents need to be very aware, very mindful, and communicate with their kids about what tools they're using online and what they're seeing online.
What are some signs a child may be struggling with something they're experiencing online?
Well, when I think of problematic use, I think of kids who want to use their phones or their tablets less, but they cannot. Um, their use of phones and tablets interfere with important tasks. They may go to great effort to conceal their use, or they experience distress when they can't get on these internet platforms. And I also want to be aware of high frequency use, like 4 or more hours a day, being a sign that the children are struggling. Again, any deception to gain access or interference with normal activities, sports, school function, academic work, because they can't get offline.
I'm a parent and I'm so anxious to ask you this question based off everything that you've said because I feel like at every different stop, we could have immediately followed up with this. But what practical steps can parents take to keep kids safer online, but without being overly restrictive?
Yeah, I think it's really important. I think being aware of privacy settings, that who can communicate with your child, being aware of how they're using messaging and who they're messaging, helping kids have social media literacy, not sharing personal information, teaching them how to block or report users or people that are using hate speech, or when they recognize harmful content, they need to tell an adult. So the privacy settings are important, and keeping these computers and gaming systems in shared spaces, I think, is very important too.
So, how can parents start ongoing conversations about online safety in a way that builds trust and openness?
Yeah, I think it's really important to check in, to have conversations about you as a parent, what you're seeing online, have conversations with a child about what they're experiencing, make family discussions about online experiences a priority. I think family dinners are really important. Having cell phone baskets where kids do not have cell phones at the table, and also parents being aware of what behavior they're modeling to their children. Are they able to get off the cell phone? If they're online ordering groceries, they can say, "Hey, I'm online ordering groceries. I'm about to get off," so that they're, communicating what they're doing online. I also think it's really important for families to have cell phone free zones, offline activities, and just discuss with kids how social media may impact you in your life as a parent, and encourage them to talk to you about how it's affecting them online. So these ongoing conversations, you know, sharing, it's really hard for me to get off my phone because I'm getting all these ads on Instagram. How does that affect you? Just kind of making it normal to talk about as a family, because there are algorithms that keep us all addicted to cell phones and tablets, and we need to share our experiences with those children.
And you've seen a lot of positive results when parents can open up to their children like that?
I have. And I think also just, you know, sharing your own experience and encouraging the child to share theirs, I think is really a way of invalidating their experience. Yes, it's really hard to be away from your phone because you're afraid you're going to miss something that's going on in school. And just validating that and saying, and at the same time, it's important that we have family dinners free of any kind of social media devices.
So you're giving us an encouragement. Let's go back to having those family dinners all gathered around the table with no phones. But it is important to be able to have that a part of our discussion for what's going on with online communication.
Yes, and I think too, just as a parent, you tend to want to, avoid. You want to protect your child from risk, and at the same time, you need to acknowledge that there are some good things about social media. The kids do like social media, and at the same time, just helping them to make good decisions using social media in a way that really is consistent with their values and with your family values. And I think if kids can learn, okay, this is a tool and it's a tool that has to be managed so that I don't miss out on academic, accomplishments or sporting accomplishments or social events. So
Great information and advice. Thank you so much for your time and insight today, Dr. Kennard.
you're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for listening to Children's Health Checkup. For more information on how to support your child's mental health, visit childrens.com/psychiatry. If you found this podcast helpful, please rate and review or share this episode, and please follow Children's Health on your social channels.